In a quiet village nestled between two emerald hills, there lived a young girl named Lyra, who carried a heavy sorrow. Her family was known for making the best lanterns in the region, beautiful creations that shone brightly in the darkest nights. But Lyra's hands were cursed, or so she believed. Every lantern she touched would flicker, fade, and die. One bitter evening, Lyra stood alone in her family's workshop. Her father's stern words echoed in her ears. "If you can't make a proper lantern, what use are you to the family?" Shame and frustration tightened her chest. Her fingers trembled as she shaped the delicate bamboo frame of yet another lantern. She lit the wick, held her breath, and watched as the flame danced. And then, as always, faltered into darkness. She slammed the lantern onto the workbench and sank to the floor, tears streaming down her face. "Why does everything I touch break?" she whispered into the silence. The room answered only with the soft creak of wood and the distant cry of a night owl. The next morning, a wandering monk arrived at the village. His robe was patched, his sandals worn, but his eyes held the depth of 1,000 sunsets. He heard of Lyra's plight and sought her out. When he found her by the river, clutching a broken lantern, he asked gently,
"Why you cry over something as small as a lantern?"
Lyra looked up, startled, her eyes red and puffy. "You don't understand," she replied. "These lanterns are my family's pride, and I can't even make one that works. I've tried everything, but I always fail." The monk smiled, his voice steady and calm. "Do you know why your lanterns fail, child?" She shook her head, too ashamed to meet his gaze. The monk sat beside her and pointed to the river. "See how the water flows? It moves effortlessly, yet it carves mountains over time. Your hands, like the water, are not the problem. Your mind is like a boulder in the stream, blocking the flow." Lyra frowned. "I don't understand." The monk reached into his bag and pulled out a small, plain lantern. "Take this," he said. "Light it, but not in haste." Hesitant but curious, Lyra took the lantern and returned to the workshop. This time, she moved slower than ever before. She chose the finest bamboo, measured each piece twice, and tied each knot carefully. As she worked, she realized how often her mind wandered to fear of failure. Each time it did, she paused, took a deep breath, and returned to the task at hand. When the lantern was ready, she lit the wick. The flame rose steadily, glowing brighter and warmer than she had ever seen. For the first time, the light did not falter. It filled the room, spilling onto the walls, casting shadows that danced like joyful spirits. Her father, hearing the commotion, rushed in. His stern expression melted into one of astonishment. "Lyra, you did it!" he exclaimed. Tears welled in her eyes, but this time they were tears of relief and pride. "I think I understand now," she whispered. "It wasn't my hands that were broken, it was my mind. I let my fear dim the flame before it even had a chance to burn." And so, Lyra learned that the true spark was never in the lantern, it was in her heart. She realized that the power to overcome doubt and fear lies in patience, focus, and belief in oneself. Like Lyra, we all face moments of darkness, but if we light our path with purpose and intention, we can shine brighter than we ever thought possible. Time waits for no one. Don't let your opportunities slip away because of fear, procrastination, or self-doubt. The best time to start is not tomorrow, not later, but right now. Take one step today towards your dream, small or big, it matters. More than waiting for the perfect moment. Let your light shine. If this story inspired you, let us know in the comments below. Share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another story that could spark change in your life. Thank you for watching. Remember, your light is unique, so let it shine. See you in the next story.